Coming up in the morning edition, Bahamians among millions in North Carolina bracing for Hurricane Florence. The dropout rate increase at the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute will tell you why. And students at the University of the Bahamas remembering one of their own. It's a Wednesday. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Morning Edition. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Expect some rough seas in parts of the country today as Hurricane Florence passes east of the islands, heading to North Carolina. Now, joining us live in studio for weather conditions on the outside, here's Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good morning, Basil.
Good morning, LaDawn.
Basil, are you going to tell us a little bit about the impact these high waves would have on those islands?
Well, right now, Florence is moving toward the west-northwest. It's moving well to the north of the Bahamas, packing winds of 130 miles per hour. However, it will generate some large swells, which will propagate towards the south. Some of those swells will impact the more easterly islands of the Bahamas, in particularly Grand Bahama, and then you have Abaco, also Eleuthera and Cat Island, all of that in the mix. Here in New Providence, we may get some light swells as a result of that, but certainly those more easterly islands, and particularly Eleuthera and the Glass Window Bridge, that is where we have greatest concern, and some of those swells can get all the way up to about 13, 16 feet.
And any advice you want to give to residents on those islands, on those affected islands?
Particularly in Eleuthera, we ask residents, once those swells arrive, we ask you to desist from using that bridge until things subside, particularly around high tide, and that is when we'll have the maximum impact during high tide, which should take place sometime around 9:30, 9:40 during the morning.
Now, I know residents over in Eleuthera are also concerned about the Glass Window Bridge. Is there an alarm for concern or a cause for concern there?
Absolutely. Whenever you have battering waves, it becomes a concern for both persons traversing the bridge on foot and also in vehicles. So you would want to desist from using that bridge once these waves arrive.
Thanks a lot, Basil. Also at this hour, close to 100 students are among residents in North Carolina preparing for this Category 4 storm. Currently, Bahamian officials are reaching out to those students to register online and make contact with the office in Atlanta. Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Darren Henfield, is encouraging students in the Carolinas to be safe.
We're advising them to follow all of the advisories, to follow the political and local government leaders. To remain safe. We know that they will take all of the necessary steps to avoid or mitigate any injuries if they can. But our prayers and thoughts are with the eastern seaboard of the United States, and we hope that they prepare, take seriously the warnings and prepare. We know in the Bahamas firsthand what hurricanes can do. And we don't want to become lethargic and sit around and wait until the 99th hour. And so we're speaking with our Consul General actively to determine where Bahamians are we do all we can to warn them and to speak with them to remain safe.
We now move on out to our streets where our Sieska Adderley is standing by with traffic police officers. Good morning, Sieska.
Good Wednesday morning, all. It's the middle of the work and school week, and we are coming to you live from Marlborough Street. It's already very busy as cars are zipping past me, but this morning we're focusing on bus drivers and how they impact our morning commute. And here to tell us more about it is Corporal Decore Barr from the Traffic Division. Good morning, Corporal Barr. How are you this morning?
I'm good, Sieska. Good morning to you. Good morning, Bahamas.
Good. Now we're talking bus drivers this morning. What do you want motorists and the viewing public to know about bus drivers this morning?
Well, like always, we want to advise or warn the motoring public to pay special attention to the roads. With that's including the public service drivers. We have a number of bus stops throughout the capital, and with these bus stops would cause the vehicles or some congestion. I suspect that it's not really the bus stops, it's more the drivers or the public service drivers who sometimes not utilize the bus stop but take it upon themselves to stop in the street to collect or drop off passengers.
Okay, so what is the proper way for them to pull over to the side at the bus stop and collect their passengers?
Well, you said it. They're supposed to pull onto the bus stop and drop off or pick up passengers and continue their travels. They're not supposed to, as we've seen here for this morning, they're not supposed to stop and park and wait on a bus stop. The only place you would see that happening is at a taxi stand or in front of some resort or airport where there's a queue for the public service drivers.
So for those using the public transportation, what is the proper way for them to come on and off the bus? Because you find pedestrians are also doing wrong as well.
Yeah, we just advise them to utilize the bus stops. Sometimes we know it may be a bit distance or some distance away from your destination, but it's there for a reason. We'd advise you to use it. It's also an offense for the drivers to collect or drop off passengers at an area that's not designated as a bus stop.
Okay, do you have any precautions for motorists that may be traveling behind these vehicles as well?
Yes, if you see a public service bus, an omnibus, jitney bus, whatever you want to call it, if you see it come to a stop to drop off a passenger, be mindful that that person may want to cross the street and be very careful. Pay special attention when attempting to go around that vehicle as the pedestrian may be crossing across the front of the bus. We'd also advise the drivers to advise their passengers when exiting the vehicle to cross the street, cross behind the bus so that other vehicles could see them.
All right. Thank you so much. That was Corporal Decory Barr telling you motorists, those of you who may be using public transportation or traveling near those that are using public transportation, to be mindful of the road and drive safely. Back to you in the studio, LaDawn.
Thanks a lot, Sieska. Students pursuing a career at the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute will have access to free education as part of a $2.6 million free tuition package. However, they would still have to pay registration and graduation fees upon their completion of studies. While this bodes well for the more than 2,400 students currently enrolled at 4 campuses across this country, President of BTVI, Dr. Robert Robertson, says there are some new initiatives on tap to attract more students to the campus.
Initiatives are around some training that we're doing at the prison, for example, a correctional facility. We're working with the Department of Labor on an apprenticeship program, a specific apprenticeship program, and we're also working aggressively on some ICT programs, information and communication technology. We just had a graduation of high school students over the summer, and that went extremely well. The pass rate was very good, the participation in that was really good, and the job prospects for that type of program are almost 100%.
Additionally, Dr. Robertson says he is concerned about the increase in the dropout rate as a number of students enrolled in various programs at that institution have been able to nab full-time employment.
It's one of the things about BTVI that people really don't understand. We have a high dropout rate, and the dropout rate is largely predicated, though, on the fact that people quit to go to work, which is what it's all about in the first instance. So what I try to tell students who do that, though, is you're being recruited for the knowledge you have. It's really important that you continue with your studies, and that's what we're trying to reinforce this year. We also want to look at the retention rate, though, and provide support for those students who need it. Maybe additional math, additional reading, those types of skills. It is a little difficult for some students, and we want to be able to support them as best we can.
Also this morning, while some store owners in the over-the-hill community are feeling the pinch since the increase in value-added tax, there are others who've decided not to go up on their prices. Kelsey Johnson visited some of those outlets recently and has the details in this report.
They know the majority of their customers by name, so the business owners in the Baines and Grantstown constituency who live in the neighborhood sometimes offer credit to their customers every now and then. That's basically how the relationship is solidified between store owners and customers in the over-the-hill community.
Living in the inner city is a lot of people them can't find that extra cent, so sometimes we let them slide on, or probably let it add up, and at the end of the day we got stuck with the bill.
Because of the long-time customers here, we don't want it to be so taxing on them. So we want them when they come in, the prices are low-cost prices, and so the people will continue to come back.
Has it been beneficial for you, and what are some of the things your customers are saying?
It has been beneficial because we haven't lost any customers, and when the customers come in, they're surprised to see that we don't charge VAT. And when they come to the register, they were like, VAT is already on this, and when we say we don't charge VAT, they're surprised, and so they're happy about that.
Since the introduction of value-added tax and the increase to 12% in July, store owners said they prefer to feel the pinch and give their customers, who also have other bills to pay, a little breathing room.
I think we're sometimes at a loss, but because of the location that we have and because of the long-time customers, we take that loss and just keep the store open for the customers.
So the overhead in terms of BEC, that doesn't affect you either?
No, we make it work.
In between, sometimes we have to push on in our pocket. Probably, like I said, the light bill going sky as you can see, all these coolers we got in here. So light bill double up this lap.
Kendi Edmond, owner of T&K through McCullough Corner, said closing the store is not an option. Even though business is slow, she knows she has to remain competitive, especially with other stores so close by.
They ain't moving as fast as they used to move. So as a business person, me and my husband, we just come out here to do what we have to do, and thank God for the people that come in.
Kelsey Johnson, ZNS Network News.
Great story there, Kelsey. In other news this Wednesday, although government has not yet put together a promise committee to review marijuana decriminalization laws, former president of the Bahamas Christian Council and now supporter of medicinal marijuana, Bishop Simeon Hall, says he is anticipating its formulation and getting feedback from Bahamians following the release of the CARICOM Regional Commission on Marijuana that recommended the decriminalization of marijuana and reclassification as a controlled substance. A local committee would be appointed, and Bishop Hall, who served on the CARICOM committee, would be a member. Although eager to review the CARICOM report as intended and get feedback from Bahamians, Hall explains his understanding of the delay.
I'm looking forward to that, but government, they're working out, I understand they're working out all the details of it, and I await that being announced and structured so that we can get our work going. The rest of the Caribbean is doing it. Pros and cons. And again, we in the Bahamas, we tend to take our time, but I'm praying that it does.
Stay close. We've got more news right after this quick break.
Know how you can save more money, save more time, earn more interest, and have more for the future? The solution is an account from Fidelity Bank. With our ASUS Savings, fixed deposits, and preferred client program, you can get free financial advice from our team of experts, competitive interest rates, and free online banking for simple and safe banking anytime, anywhere. Open a fixed deposit or savings account with Fidelity by visiting a branch today. Get into the rhythm of saving with Fidelity. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Need insurance for your valuables? Shield Insurance is the answer for you, offering friendly, professional service at competitive prices. Our experienced staff at Shield Insurance work hard to ensure that you get the right coverage for your car, home, or business. Now introducing our new premium financing program, designed to make it easier for government workers and employees of approved businesses to receive car and home insurance. Visit Shield Insurance on Thompson Boulevard or call 356-7202.
Students at the University of the Bahamas got a chance to bid a final farewell to one of their own, 18-year-old Britannian Leary, who died last week after battling a rare disease that led to renal failure. Leary's mother and pastor also came from Abaco to be with students as they paid respects and remembered the life of Britannian, who university officials and students say played an active role in campus life. Friends like Tyrone Pratt, president of the dance group Sauce It Up, remembered Britannian as a young man so full of life.
He was a trustworthy person, and because he came from Abaco and I came from San Salvador, so it's like we had an island bond. So when we message, we'll have our little island dialect and stuff like that. And he had a weird laugh. His laugh was very outrageous. But Britannian was a good person. Anytime he entered the room at practice, he always gave a positive aura. He made everyone laugh. He might get off on people, make fun of people, but we all know it was just jokes. During auditions, he was kind of shy. So what I did to break the ice, I went and, since I was the vice president, I went and trying to get the icebreaker, so I dance and try to give everybody the energy. So when he came on, he started dancing the juju on the beat. He was a little stiff, but I know through practices we were to make him a better dancer. And when he performed at Showcase, from when he started at the auditions and when he performed, was a totally different thing.
Funeral arrangements for Rayaton, the native of Abaco, will be announced at a later date. Final rehearsals for James Catlin's Summer Madness are underway at the Dundas Theater as members of James Catlin and friends add the finishing touches to their performances ahead of Thursday's grand opening. Members say their performances will be in memory of the playwright who died recently and left an indisputable mark on Bahamian culture. The production will run until Sunday here in New Providence before moving to 2 other islands, including Exuma. And in our special segment this morning, our Kelsey Johnson takes a closer look back at back pain and what you can do about it.
There are many myths and misconceptions when it comes to back pain. The top for women is wearing and walking in high heels. For men, it's bad standing. But there's one thing the experts do agree on, and that's bad posture.
It's multifactorial and it depends on, it's very unique. Back pain is very unique. So what we tell people is it could be obesity, because obesity leads to increased weight on the joints. It could be lack of activity. It could be that you actually have other medical conditions that are referring to your back. But more commonly, it's posture, it's the way we sit at work, maybe the way our workstations are set up. It's really multifactorial.
Culmer encourages persons to get checked out and not to ignore the signs. She says it is critical because there are major risk factors involving back pains and that more is being done to bring awareness. Saturday, September 8th was Physiotherapy World Day, where persons here locally were able to get checked out.
Physiotherapists are movement specialists, and we are not able to see persons directly, but with a physician's referral, we are able to help persons who have back pain.
What is the worst back pain or symptoms a person can have?
I would say most commonly people complain of aches in their back, but then they also complain of shooting pains down their legs. Those would be the 2 worst symptoms that persons complain of, and it could be really debilitating for anybody who is active because back pain tends to slow you down.
Now, your mattress can also cause you back pain. How you sleep, right?
Well, a poor mattress could do many things, and then lack of sleep, your tolerance for pain is already going to be far lower. So yes, having the appropriate mattress is also important.
And if you do suffer from back pains, here's what you can do to rectify the problem.
So we would take you through an evaluation. First of all, we're actually going to look at you from head to toe, even if your diagnosis is specifically your back, because we want to see what all the contributing factors are. We're going to look at your posture. We're going to look at your flexibility, look at your strength. And with the medical knowledge of what your physician diagnosed you with, we're able to use all of that information and create a customized exercise prescription for you.
I don't have any back pains, but I still got a much-needed massage from the experts, while others went through the routines designed to assist and eventually correct theirs.
I believe you should have a physiotherapist just like how you have a general practitioner. You should be doing a regular checkup with your physical therapist, especially if you know that you have a diagnosis or underlying condition, especially an orthopedic condition.
Kelsey Johnson, ZNS Network News.
And speaking of back pain, Fisher, someone dropped these nice stilettos, I would say, in the foyer for you. Tell us a little bit about the significance of these.
Well, I said if the Miami Dolphins were to win the Super Bowl, I'll walk around ZNS in some high heels. But LaDawn, last week you told me I was getting old. Now you're bringing high heels for me. Expect a very good Christmas gift from me. Very good. I'm really waiting on it.
So what's
coming up in sports, the New Providence Softball Association. LaDawn, I'm not going to get over this. New Providence Softball Association, they had playoff action last night. The Providence kept pulling shock. Their backs were against the wall.
And we can't wait to see Fisher wear these heels.
Dolphins will not win the Super Bowl. I'm sure about that.
That story and more ahead in sports.
We live in a hurricane zone, so safety, security, and protection of our homes and businesses is very important. That's why We Buy, You Sell, the Hurricane Impact Window and Door Specialists, offers 100% fully laminated hurricane impact windows and doors designed to withstand all category storms. Our prices are 30 to 50% lower than our competitors. We also sell porcelain, mosaic, and plank tiles. Visit our showroom and let our trained, certified staff cater to your needs. We Buy, You Sell, located number 163 Robinson Road in the old Hastings building. Call 324-6427 or 698-1141. Don't get blown away this hurricane season. Visit us today.
Good morning once again. It's that time with their backs against the wall and in a must-win game, the Proper Care Pool Lady Sharks came out like sharks in infested waters, aggressive at the plate and on the base path as they devoured the Johnson Lady Truckers 11-4 in only 6 innings to force a decisive Game 5 in the New Providence Softball Association first round affair. Sari Aubrey going 3 for 4, scored 2 runs and 2 RBI. Donisha Woodside 1 for 4, 3 runs, and Aniska Lotmore was 1 for 4, 3 runs, and 2 RBI. Winning pitcher Mona Hanna, 6 strikeouts, also at the plate, going 1 for 4 with an RBI.
And we just had to keep a positive mind so that we'll be able to win the game, and we just had to hit and get our runs in. I think we'd have to stay positive and stay as a team in order to win.
We were really flat, you know, and we made a lot of defensive mistakes. We didn't hit the ball we needed to. We didn't get the key hits at the time we needed it. And, you know, you can't go into the playoffs playing with that kind of intensity. You have to come with like you want to win the game. But we didn't come with that tonight. So we're going to have to come Thursday and give it all we got. And hopefully we'll come out on top.
Once again, Game 5 Thursday, waiting on the winner there is the Sunshine Auto Wildcats. Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Darren Henfield, responding to the number of claims that student athletes have been denied entrance into the United States.
Stocking up on water.
Rugby-Hammond head coach Alani Green was introduced as the new head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats in July. Well, yesterday, he named Debbie Ferguson McKenzie as one of his assistants. The fellow McKenzie was on the staff at UK after spending the past 4 seasons at the University of Houston, where she helped build that program into a national relevant contender. She had an immediate impact when she joined the Houston staff between the 2014-15 season. Ferguson McKenzie women's sprinters and hurdlers would go on to qualify 3 student athletes for the NCAA West Regional. Now to some minor league baseball, where Charles Chisholm went 1 for 5 last night as Visalia lost Game 1 of the California League Best of 5 minor league championships to Rancho at home. Game 2 is tonight. And that's going to do it for sports on a Wednesday morning. That's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed it.
Need insurance for your valuables? Shield Insurance is the answer for you, offering friendly, professional service at competitive prices. Our experienced staff at Shield Insurance work hard to ensure that you get the right coverage for your car, home, or business. Now introducing our new premium financing program, designed to make it easier for government workers and employees of approved businesses to receive car and home insurance. Visit Shield Insurance on Thompson Boulevard or call 356-7202.
You thought it was the talk of the town, but get ready for more.
More energy, more excitement, exhilarating, compelling, informative, educational talk on The Conversation.
I'm Shanique Miller. Pull up a chair with a cup of tea and join me weekdays at 4 on Radio Bahamas, 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, and The Light, 810 AM for The Conversation. I'm excited to have you around the table.
Hey, have you heard? ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Whether you're on the move or just kicking back. Miss something on the news? It's there. Want to keep up with a live update? It's there. Or just want to listen to your favorite station? It's there too. Download the app now from the App Store and Google Play Store.
We are their mentor. And when we live long enough to see them succeed,
then we know that we have done a great thing, because that's what we're here for.
Once we get to the kids and we can get Jesus in their heart, then if only we affect one child, that child goes to school in the neighborhood where they might have at least 30 children in the class, and time they spread that good joy, that would be tremendous.
Did you bring the thing?
What thing?
Protection.
Come on, man. You really want to ruin the moment with that?
I actually think it will help the moment. No worries. Now we can continue. Next time, step your game up.
For the latest news and highlights in Bahamian culture, tune in to the new Junkanoo 242, Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network. Radio Bahamas 1540 a.m. on 104.5 FM and TV 13. Each week, hosts Arlene Nash Ferguson, Eric Hall, and Darren Bastian engages listeners with some of the movers and shakers of Junkanoo and Bahamian culture. Don't miss Junkanoo 242, Saturday at 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network.
In our first look at weather, the morning got off to a pretty good start with dry conditions, and outside of our studios we have some clouds, a temperature 81 degrees, relative humidity 78%, northeast winds at 4 miles per hour, your barometric pressure 1,014.6 millibars, that's 29.94 inches, and it is steady. Temperatures around the islands this morning, Greentole Key at 77, 77 also in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Marsh Harbor, and Abaco at 76 degrees, in the Berry Islands 76, 82 in Bimini. As we go into Harbor Island, 82 degrees. Rock Sand in Lutra 80, 80 in Otterstown, Cat Island. Staniel Key in Exuma Chain at 78, 78 also in Camps Bay, St. Andrews, Fresh Creek, Central Andrews at 79 degrees. San Salvador and Rim Key at 80 degrees, 82 in Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island as well. Oh, in Betsy Bay, Maguana 81, 81 in Acklands, Ragged Island 82 degrees, Matthew Town, Inagua 81, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 83 degrees. Your boating forecast today for the northwestern islands, light and variable winds, wave heights 1 to 3 feet, but we can anticipate some moderate swells here in the capital, but around Eleuthera, those swells are going to be pretty large, getting up to about 13, 14 feet at times. So residents near the Glass Window Bridge, we ask you to exercise extreme caution, and once those waves begin, we ask you to stop using that bridge. High tide will take place at 9:28 this morning, low tide at 3:46 in the afternoon. And for the central and southeastern islands, northeast to east winds 10 to 15 knots, the wave heights 2 to 4 feet with some moderate swells in place. And then in the tropics, we have this area of disturbed weather in the northwestern Caribbean Sea now making its way into the Gulf of Mexico, where conditions are a bit more favorable for development. So over the next day or two, we could see this developing perhaps into a tropical depression, maybe even a tropical storm. The good news is it will be moving away from the Bahamas. And then we have Isaac, which is moving towards the Lesser Antilles. It's about 500 miles just to the east of Martinique, and its packet winds of about 60 miles per hour has lost some sting overnight, and that's certainly a good news, and we anticipate that will continue to weaken as it moves towards the west. And then there's Florence, also weakened a bit overnight, but remaining a very dangerous and powerful Category 4 hurricane, packing winds of 130 miles per hour. It's now about 575 miles to the east of the Carolinas, and that will make landfall sometime late Thursday going into Friday, and the Problem with this system is that it's going to bring some very dangerous and threatening sea surge, which can get all the way up to about 13 feet. Along with that, it's going to stall out once it gets inland, and the rainfall accumulation going to get up to about 25 inches of rainfall. So when you combine all of that heavy rainfalls and sea surge, it's going to prove to be a very devastating system as it moves inland. So those of you who have loved ones in the Carolinas, this is a good time to advise and encourage them to get out of Dodge City. Forecast track, as you can see, we already spoke about that, maintaining that northwest track, making landfall sometime early Friday or late Thursday. And forecast for today here in the northwestern islands, partly sunny and hot with a brief shower possible, high temperature around 89 degrees. And tonight it's going to be just a few clouds, still somewhat warm, a slight shower likely during the late night or early morning with your low temperature getting down to 78 degrees. Extended weather forecast getting up to 90 at times, particularly on Friday, and things will dry out on the weekend. A pretty nice weekend shaping up for you weather-wise. So, Dawn?
Thanks, Basil, and that does it for the morning edition. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Once again, I'm LaDawn Davis. See you right back here tomorrow morning.